Hi, second grade. This is Unit 6, Week 2, and this unit is a unit that talks about energy, and our essential question says, how do we use energy? This unit is going to have vocabulary words and a story that all have to do with energy and science. So it says, this boy is finding out information about the Earth on his tablet. His tablet needs power to work. He charges the battery in his tablet with an electrical charger. Electricity comes from many sources. Electricity can come from solar power, wind power, and other sources. Talk about it. How do you use energy at home? You could talk with someone, a sibling or a parent. How are you using energy that now that you are doing, especially now that you're doing school at home? Are you using technology? Are you having to plug things in? Are you using more power sources than you did before or less? Okay, vocabulary word number 1. Electricity. The lights need electricity to work. Electricity is a type of energy that travels through wires, and it makes lights and machines work. What other things need electricity to work? It shows a picture of the lights in a home. We talked about how electronics need to be plugged in. My microwave needs electricity. What other things in your house need electricity? Number 2, energy. It takes a lot of energy to power all the computers in our school. Energy is power from things that can be used to heat things and make lights and machines work. What else at school uses energy? Our computers use energy. Our air conditioners use energy. What else? Number 3, the water flows from the tap into the sink. Flows means moving in a steady stream. What's another word for flows? Number 4, haul. Dump trucks haul away big rocks. Haul means to carry something heavy. What heavy things can you haul? You guys are pretty strong. I've seen you lift some decently heavy stuff. What are you hauling around at home or in your yard? Number 5, power. The windmills use wind to make power for homes. Power is any kind of energy that can be used to make lights and machines work. So another word for power could be what? Number 6, silent. The classroom was silent. Silent means completely quiet without sound. Now, when do you like it to be silent? Do you like it to be silent when you're working, or do you like to have music or some kind of noise? Do you like it to be silent when you are reading, trying to build a new Lego set, or trying to go to sleep, or not? Number 7, solar. This solar oven uses light from the sun to cook food. Solar means anything caused or related to the sun. Solar means having to do with the sun. So why might people want to use solar power? And some of you may have seen big things called solar panels on top of some people's roofs in Florida. They're using the energy from the sun to try and create electricity for their house. Last, number 8, underground. Prairie dogs live underground. Underground means buried or beneath the surface of the earth. Tell about another animal you know that lives underground. So they gave you prairie dogs. What else do you know? Okay, the next thing for today is you have a copy of Pedal Power. And this story uses all the vocabulary words. It still says, how do we use energy? Read about how people produce and use energy. This is expository text. That means it's going to be real. It's nonfiction, it's telling real information. I'll read the first part of it to you and then you can go ahead and finish it at your homes. It says, what is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. Solar energy comes from the sun. It's a silent source of energy because it makes no sound. There is also energy that comes from wind and water. Did you know that energy can come from people too? When you pedal a bike, you produce energy. Produce means makes energy. You can use your legs to push the pedals. Your energy is transferred to the bike. This shift of power or energy makes the bike move. Now, imagine riding your bike to create enough power to run a computer. Some students at one school did just that. They hopped on bikes connected to generators and pedaled in place. Soon, they were producing electricity. This energy is needed to run their laptop computers. Bicycle-powered energy. Here's how bicycle-powered energy works. When a student pedals the bike, the rear wheels, that's these back wheels, spins. The wheel spins the generator. The generator produces or makes electricity. Here's a picture of the generator. Remember, expository text will often have features such as a diagram like this picture where they labeled things. This generator is then connected to a battery where it can store the energy produced. As long as a student pedals the bicycle, electricity flows or runs through the generator. The electricity can be used right away. This energy can also be stored in a battery. It can be used later. Teachers can haul or carry laptop computers to the battery and plug them in for power. Now, I noticed up here that it said both of these vocabulary words, it says, as long as a student pedals the bicycle, electricity flows, and then there's 2 commas, and it says, or runs through the generator. That's a context clue. They're telling you what flows means in between those 2 commas. And the same thing happens with haul. It says teachers can haul, and then they put 2 commas and they defined what it said. Teachers can haul or carry laptop computers to the battery. So if you see 2 commas after a word, there a lot of times that's a context clue, or that's a clue telling you what that word means. Using bicycle-powered energy. People also exercise on bicycles and produce power in gyms. People create watts as they pedal. A watt is a unit for measuring power. Small devices, such as small televisions and fans, often use less than 100 watts per hour. These things can be run by bicycle-powered electricity. It would be a mistake to use pedal power to run a refrigerator, though. This large appliance often uses more than 700 watts per hour. The electricity for these machines comes from the power lines overhead or underground. Pedal power is popping up in schools, gyms, and homes. What a fun way to provide electricity. Bicycle power can be used to power these appliances, a blender and a hairdryer, because they're small and they don't use as many watts or units of power. Now, I said I wasn't going to finish reading this, and I did, so maybe you can go ahead this week and you can reread it on your own now that you've heard it once. And sometimes when you reread something, things make better sense and you're able to think about the text in different ways. These are 2 questions that you can look back. It says, how can people use the electricity they produce from riding bikes? So how do people use the electricity they use when they're hooked up to this generator? Tell about how you might use a bike-powered electricity. So if you had a bike that you could pedal and you could cause it to produce electricity, what would you use that electricity for? All right, that is your vocabulary and reading for today.